welcome to JERM News. My name is Cornelius Van Heffenfesser. There are many pressing issues in our world today, but one of them has emerged as the issue of bacterial resistance to antibiotics. The first antibiotics were created in the late 1920s, but began to be used more heavily in the 1940s. Today, our story will discuss the resistance of bacteria and its evolution to that point. Through the process of evolutionary changes, the issue of bacterial resistance has become more inevitable, but there are still ways to delay it. Now let's hear from some of our experts. Reese.
I'm Dr. Reese, and antibiotics help to kill or prevent the growth of bacteria. They are usually used as a treatment for bacterial infections like tuberculosis, not viral infections. Over the past few decades, bacteria has evolved resistance to antibiotics. Bacterial resistance is the ability of microbes to resist the effects of antibiotics, meaning they are not killed and their growth isn't stopped. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 2,049,442 illnesses and 23,000 deaths are a result of infections stemming from bacterial resistance. For example, one type of bacterial infection, Clostridium difficile, which is directly related to antibiotic resistance, causes over 250,000 illnesses and 14,000 deaths alone. As the statistics show, bacterial resistance is a major problem, and as people continue to use antibiotics, the problem will only grow. People with infections caused by this resistance can only have a severe illness. They require increased recovery time and may even die from these infections.
Thank you, Reese. Now to our next expert, Dr. Evelyn.
I'm Dr. Evelyn, and as you may know, bacterial resistance is a natural process due to natural selection. Natural selection, otherwise known as survival of the fittest, drives organisms to evolve in order to become more adapted to their environment. According to the American Museum of Natural History, those individual organisms who happen to be best suited to an environment survive and produce many similarly well-adapted descendants. After numerous breeding cycles, better adapted dominate. Nature has filtered out poorly suited individuals and the population has evolved. Natural selection can clearly be seen in the bacteria that the antibiotics target. Those bacteria then survive to reproduce and pass on their resistance to more bacteria. Over time, the majority of the bacteria become resistant, to which antibiotics have no effect upon. Unless all those bacteria are killed, it can continue to develop its resistance. Unfortunately, natural selection is a natural process and cannot be prevented. Once a certain type of bacteria becomes immune to antibiotics, there is no easy way to devolve them back. It's only a matter of time before all bacteria become resistant to antibiotics, and the overuse of it is only speeding up the process.
Even if bacterial resistance is inevitable, there are still ways to help delay it. Right now in the lab of Roy Kishani, drugs that target the ability of the bacterium to cause disease but not quite kill the bug is an idea that has been floated and being tested. But while that goes on, there are things that you can do yourself.
The most obvious way is to prevent infections. That can be done with proper food preparation or even just washing your hands. Also, only taking antibiotics when directed and necessary. Taking more antibiotics gives the bacteria more chances to develop resistance.
Now for our impacted individual, Martha. She has tuberculosis and she can't do anything about it.
Hello, my name is Martha King, and I have the bacterial disease of tuberculosis. It all started one stormy night, when my friend was diagnosed with tuberculosis. Soon after, I was also diagnosed, so I began to take antibiotics. For a short time, that seemed to help with my symptoms, but eventually, I started having to take more and more antibiotics. And not just for my tuberculosis. But then one day, the antibiotics didn't work anymore. I was told that the bacteria had developed a resistance to my antibiotics. And now I have to live with the everyday struggle of tuberculosis, knowing that I will probably never, ever fully recover. I made the mistake of taking my antibiotics when I didn't really need to, and now I have to suffer the consequences. This issue could happen to anyone. And that's why we need to do what we can do to try to delay the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. And tune in next week to JERM News to watch Game 5 of the Cavs Warriors. Oh, wait. Never mind. Not next week.